Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel Q&A. My name's Doug. So the next sequel that we're going to be covering is a nice action one in our action sequel expert who we have not seen in almost a year. Andrew, he's got the powers. He's going to be back, and we're going to be covering a Danny Trejo and Danny Glover flick. It is Badasses on the Bayou, or Badasses 3. And yeah, pretty amazing. The movie started from that internet video when the guy knocked out the other guy in the bus, and he said, "You better call an ambulance." And then they made a movie starring Danny Trejo, and then they made two more, and we're covering the third one. And for it, I interviewed actor, and when you listen to the interview, you'll say, "You should be a comedian now." And I'm talking about James Moses Black. He had a small role in this movie. We didn't really get too much into it, but his big role, you can see it in theaters right now, or I'm sure pretty soon, whenever you're listening to it. It might be video on demand by then. Renfield, starring Nicolas Cage, Nicholas Hoult, and also James Moses Black. He plays the role of Captain Browning. He talked about a lot of the scenes he had with one of my favorite improvisers, Ben Schwartz. So he had some great stories about working with him and riffing on set. But we also talked about like his comedy. You'll hear the stories about that. But my favorite part about that is when he mentions what his beginnings, opening up his story about the Kings of Comedy tour in the early 90s and him DJing for Bernie Mac, which is a pretty cool story. Yeah, lots of fun throughout this interview. I've been having a lot of fun the last few months. I think doing this for so long, I've gotten used to it, and just the people are so great. James is great. So do me a favor, make sure you watch Renfield. Why not? It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see it. I haven't had a chance with the little one teething. I haven't been able to get out at night with the missus, but soon. I want to see it in the theater or when it's on demand, but looking forward to that. And then what's really cool is one thing he's wanted to do over the years is start to direct and write. So talk about some of the projects he's worked on already and some that are on horizon. Pretty interesting, the stories that he wants to tell, and I really appreciate him for that. And we had some fun throughout the interview. I even made him laugh once. So do me a favor. I mentioned this before. I helped the amazing character actor Larry Hankin put together his memoirs. It's called That Guy, A Cautionary Tale, or memoir. I don't know why I always interchange them, but it's on our website at sequelsonly.com, or I'm sure you use Amazon. You could buy it there. Pretty cool. Larry gave me a dedication page on there. Pretty nice. Stories are phenomenal. Reading them after listening to them, hours of editing them. When Larry, when I pulled them out of Larry, able to remember some of the stories from years back, doing stand up and opening for the likes of like Miles Davis and the Kingston Trio. So really cool stuff. So yeah, and follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And now it's time for a hilarious chat. Lots of laughs throughout with actor and hopefully comedian. We talked about a bit that I think was so funny that he mentioned that I think would crush on stage. James Moses Black.
I was just talking to somebody about Jersey. He's actually from AC in Jersey. I went to school with him.
Oh, okay.
And he's in Tucson. I said, "Man, do you miss like the snow?" And he's like, "No." But he's in Tucson, so it's like 120 degrees in the summertime.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I don't know. I lived in Portland, Oregon for me and my wife are both from Jersey, and then we moved out to Portland just to get out of Jersey for a little bit. And we kind of missed the seasons, I guess. And then, home always brings you back. So
yeah, no doubt, man.
So how did it all begin for you? So you grew up in Virginia, right?
Yep, grew up. I was born in Virginia. Then my family moved to Philly, and then my parents moved to Pittsburgh.
Oh,
and
nice.
then they split, and then my dad went to Cali, my mother went back to Philly, and then back to Pittsburgh, and then it went all from there.
Where were you at mostly? Were you just bouncing around?
Just bouncing around. My dad was in the Navy. I was in California for a while there too, so in San Diego. So yeah, I was just bouncing around, man. Went to Wissahickon for like a couple years, and almost went to school in Philly, but I was like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah. They always say Don Mattingly got recruited by, I forget what schools he got recruited by, but he was like, why would I go to school in like Indiana or whatever? He's like, if I'm going to go to college, I'm going to go to Miami, because they both were trying to recruit him. He's like, why am I going to freeze my ass off every year? Which totally, I get it. Like if I was an athlete,
makes sense.
I was choosing where I was going to school. No wonder why people go to, obviously they go to Alabama because they're good, but why freeze your ass off in Michigan?
I'm telling you, man. I'm like, I want to go to school, same school that Aaron Hernandez went to.
It's like a kid only watched the Super Bowl, doesn't know it really happened, and it's like, right. So growing up in San Diego, and obviously bouncing around, at what point was it like acting was a thing that popped into your head? You're like, you know what? Let me try this.
Well, I was always an entertainer, man. Even as a child, I would dance for the family, do skits about James Brown and Sammy Davis Jr. and so it was it was like one of those things, man. I was always an entertainer, and then after college, like I went to school on like someone else's dream, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, we needed a graduate, the first graduate in our high school, so I said I'll go to college. And then I did that, and then like I don't know, man, 10 years, no, not even 10 years, probably, about 10 years after college, I decided, this is not for me. I think I want to be an actor, And my mother was like, yo, you need to send me one more check before you have no money. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. Don't worry about it, Mom. We'll be all right. But that's how it started, man. So, corporate America, and then over to acting. I did go to school at ACT and in Northern California at San Francisco. So I went there for a while. Yeah. And then that was it, man. I did some stand-up when I was probably in Minnesota. I did stand-up, and now I really dig it, but I don't do it anymore. I just got off a cruise like 2 weeks ago on the Wonder of the Seas, like Royal Caribbean Wonder of the Seas. And I woke up in the middle of the night wondering around the seas, because it was like, this boat is too big,
Oh my God.
But there was just some karaoke, and I was watching all these people from all across the world, and I did like 10 minutes of comedy just based on the people who just came on stage. And I
That's
killed
awesome.
the room. Yeah, I killed the room, and then they were like, "Can you do that again?" I was like, "No, that wasn't free." No more.
So up in San Francisco, you were doing stand up? Like, is that like at that time you were doing the clubs up there?
Yeah, a little bit of clubs up there, and then I did most of the stand up in Minneapolis in Ohio. And then when I got to school, they're like, "Listen, you need to." And the second time in school, they're like, "Listen, James, you need to just go to school. Don't do any stand up." And I don't know why they told me that, because all of a sudden I'm doing stand up in class, like just laughing and joking. But man, I actually did the first Kings of Comedy tour. I was the opener in Philly and Pittsburgh, and it was all the old comedians, man, like Bernie Mac.
I saw it in the movie theater. James, I'll tell you right now, me and my buddy were the only two white people in the movie theater in Jersey, and it was like two kids. We were in it was 2001, 2002, right around that time.
Yep.
And that so I was like 14,
91, 92. It was like 91.
Oh, that
92.
was the early one. Okay, I was talking about the one in the theater, the movie theater, the one that was in the movies. That one.
Okay, yeah. The first one, they were actually touring. Like Russell Simmons had put together the tour.
Oh, that's amazing.
And they were touring around. But I met all those cats, man. It's crazy, man.
Bernie Mac and the Bernie Mac pants, man, with his face on them.
And the long suit he used to have, like the suit jacket was like 6 feet long, and he was like 5'11" or something. But man, him. DL was on tour.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of people on tour, man. Yeah.
No, those old Def Comedy Jams. It's so cool when you watch those. I have like the best of like the first 5 volumes, but it's cool when you see Bernie Mac. Like he was always funny, but then he like found his voice, and his voice was when he was telling him to play the music and he was dancing and then saying a joke and then turn it off. Yeah,
right. He did a. I hear that meme. So in the middle when I was opening, I was a DJ. So I would DJ Bernie Mac's set, like, so, and he had to do. he'd do that, right? And so he was cracking these jokes, man, and I'm laughing. He's cracking the jokes. I'm laughing. The record skips, and he just gives me this look, like, MF, if you don't stop laughing and just play my music, in his Bernie Mac voice, Jam, I'm but your head. You do it again, boy, I'm gonna hit you in the head. Do it again, okay? Do it again, Jane. But yeah, man, he was a funny dude, man. That was him and Robin Harris, just like, it's funny cats, man.
Man, that's so cool that you had that experience. So you were doing that, and then somebody said, "Hey, lay off comedy, just stick to acting."
Yeah, the late great Robert Guillaume told me that. It was like, yo, man, I met him in the early 2000s when I moved to Cali or moved to Los Angeles. And he had told me, he said, man, it's great that you do that, but don't be a buffoon, right? Don't be a buffoon comedy. There's smart comedy, because, he did Soap, Benson, he did all these famous comedies, but they were smart. There was no buffoonery in there. And I kind of got me out of that lane, because it was when those type of comics came up, they would tell stories with their bodies. They would tell all these stories with their bodies. And some comics do it now. But he's like, yo, James, you just got to watch the buffoonery, because it's not going to get you anywhere. It's stuck. And then I kind of drifted off into like more dramatic stuff. And now, I'm doing a comedy called Renfield. I'm like, what the heck is going on with my career? You know what I'm saying? And I'm doing it with Dracula. I'm doing a comedy with Dracula and his boy of 900 years. And you don't think this is funny? But it is funny. But and then, just to deal with a cat named Ben Schwartz. Ben Schwartz is a really funny guy.
Oh, man. Yeah, dude, he's really, and then even the other people that are in the movie and like lesser roles, like Carolyn Williams and William Ragsdale. So they have like these cool like horror icons from the 80s that are like put into the movie, which is cool.
Right. And again, I didn't get to stretch out. Like, I mean, when I saw the movie, I was like, yo, Chris McKay cut a whole bunch of stuff out of the movie, because we were doing a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, between myself, Ben Schwartz, and sometimes Aquafina, man.
She's funny.
Bro, we could not hold it together half the time. So yeah, but a lot of that stuff got cut out, but it still ended up funny to me. It's a funny movie to me.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. That must have been, it's like a big movie, and big movie for obviously you and for Nick Cage, because he hasn't done a studio wide release picture.
Yeah, I think he did that. Right? Yeah, he did that one where he's playing himself.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, with Pedro Pascal. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but that was his first release, like big release, because he had been doing all the B movies, I guess, just to catch up from before. So yeah, but cool dudes. Everybody has their idiosyncrasies, man. Yeah, you just gotta say, all right, I'm gonna let him just do that, and I'm just go over here. Cool. I was telling Chris McKay, I was like, man, I really don't do horror movies. They like, babe, come on, James, just do the movie. I was like, man, I really don't do horror movies, man. I don't want nothing to do with Satan. Man, I'm cool, man. I'm cool with Satan. And I was like, can you split me from the evil? Can you like have evil over here and me over here? You know what I'm saying? Because he was like, dude, it's not like that. I was like, all right. And it ended up being cool.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. And then so going back to like the acting, the beginnings of it. So what was you were going to acting school in San Fran. So like, what was the first step? Like, was it going right into auditioning for TV movies, or were you doing any commercials or?
Yeah, I did. If you look it up, man, maybe you'll get some time. I did a commercial. It was from Vegas.com. Remember Vegas.com had these string of commercials, and people would appear in a pool, people would go down something, and all of a sudden they'd be in Vegas. Well, I did the one where the construction worker went through a cement twirler, and I ended up on the stage with the Chippendale dancers. And that was the funniest commercial ever, bro. It was the funniest commercial ever. And they aired it last because the first couple of them weren't taken off, but when they aired this one, I mean, I think I got paid for like 5 or 6 years off of that commercial.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Ask me what that money is now. I don't know.
That's when commercials paid really good, like 90s, 2000s, even 80s. When I was talking to I talked to an actress who was the final girl in Friday the 13th Part 5. She got paid more to do like a Dr. Pepper commercial in like 1981 than she got paid in like 85 for like a main person in a horror movie, which is mind blowing.
Yeah, it's crazy, man, how much money they used to make on commercials, man. But I know a couple cats make like stupid money on commercials, but that's them,
Yeah, right.
That's them.
So looking at your IMDb, it's never 100%. So your first roles, 2003, the Orlando Jones Show, and The District, those two.
The Gilmore Girls was probably my first one. The Gilmore Girls with Amy Palladino.
Nice.
That was probably my first show, and I was like, I remember sitting on Warner Brothers lot, and I said, "Man, I made it!" Like, and then I didn't work again for like 5 months. I was like, "Shoot, I didn't make it yet." I didn't make it yet. I made it here, but that's all I made it to. You know what I'm saying? But and then she brought me back on a different episode a couple years later. So her, the woman from Sherry, that's Sherry's last name, but she's a Bostonian. Her and Sherry and Wendy O'Brien were always like championing me. Like Wendy does Sunny in Philadelphia,
nice.
Sons of Anarchy when it was out. So between those women, they would always champion what I was doing. So that was cool.
That's awesome. It always is big when I talk to casting directors. They have their go-to people. And if you ever look at their movies on IMDb, you look at a casting director, there's always like, not the main actors, but there's always like the other people. It's like a lot of the same people. This one lady I interviewed, she had Stanley Tucci in like 5 movies in a row. Like within like his first like 2 years acting, he was like construction worker or random guy and stuff like that. But you need your people you can trust. That's the one you don't want to have to worry about the other person in the scene. That's the last thing you want to worry about.
Right. Absolutely, man. I know people call me and then they'll call the agent and I'm like, "Hey, can James?" I just did a movie. It's called You People. It was Eddie Murphy. It's all these people.
Right? Jonah Hill,
Tons. Jonah Hill. All this, man. I got to set and Eddie had like 7 SUVs full of people. I was like, how many? And, it's just all his people, right? Not his people that work for him. Big Fruity and all of them. And like, how would you like your name to be Big Fruity? And Big Fruity is a big dude, man. His name is Big Fruity. Big Fruity, a big dude, man. But I would say, can we drop the fruity part? Just Big Fruity. Just call me Big or something, but don't call me Big Fruity. So they called me for that, man. And then I got the part and I was shooting Renfield and I told them, like, "Yo, man, shouldn't I have an argument with this other guy, the Jewish guy? And he should argue with the black dude?" And James, don't worry about it. So I said, "Okay, are you sure? Because I'm leaving. I got to go back to New Orleans." "Oh, James, you're good." Yeah, next day I'm at the airport. They're like, "Hey, James, we forgot to shoot that one scene. Hey, man, I want to wait to Renfield. Sorry." And that was it. And then if you watch the movie, like the dude, that Iman at the end is different from me when in the movie. But
you see you earlier in like a behind shot or something. Oh my god.
Yeah. But I got paid like it was an all-star or something. I was like, y'all give away this much. This Netflix deal is something else.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's so funny how many times that probably happens in movies. Like that happened in Aliens. James Remar got casted for Michael Biehn because James Remar got busted for drugs in London. So they had to like recast him, but they some scenes they just couldn't reshoot. So you see him randomly in these scenes, like James Remar, you just see him leading the battalion. Like it's funny. It's funny how that happens in movies, but it's got to happen. People have things come up, or in your case, like, "Hey, I got to go do a shoot."
Yeah, it is. Or you end up punching somebody and then, and now you're out.
Yeah.
It's like, I like Jonathan Majors. Couldn't you have punched a dude or something?
Oh, yeah.
Don't. Nobody hits women. Nobody does that. And you're on I looked at how much his 2 movies made together was like 800 million.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You could at least made it till you were 40, R. Kelly. I mean, come on, bro.
He was going to be that next guy. There were so many movies that he was going to be, I think, the main person in the next Marvel, in the big Avengers movie. Yeah. He was supposed to be like the main thing.
Right. Now he's left, now he's like a raccoon or something. I don't know. But it's just sad that these young cats, man. You know, they're really good at their craft, but that's the business, the psychology of the business, and people just pulling at you and tugging at you is what some people just it's hard for them, man. You know,
Yeah.
because it's just hard.
You're making a lot of money. You're in the spotlight, and you have so many family members. It happens to athletes all the time. If you ever watched that, I think it was called Money or Broke on ESPN. It was a documentary. There's all these athletes that I grew up loving and watching, like Antoine Walker. Like, wow, this guy's probably like doing great. It's like, oh yeah, he lost all his money. His like business associate was his cousin, and he was taking money from him, and then.
So it's crazy, man. It's just crazy. Meanwhile, me, I ain't did nothing. Oh, you could call me anytime. You know when I'll call you? Never.
So James, when it came to like obviously you're from there, I know you're like, they didn't call me, I didn't get called for 5 months, but then you have like The Practice, King of Queens. There's like a bunch that happened in 2004. What was like the role or the show you're on or the movie you're in when you were like, because obviously you wanted to do this, like you said, when you were like 32, 33, you're like, this is something I want to do. Well, what was the one that you're like, I can do this? Was there like a role or a movie you were in that you're like, you know what, I can do this for the rest of my life?
No, I've always been a very confident and grateful person. So without any nets, like anything I've ever taken on, whether it was corporate America, whether it was selling clothes, whether it was selling, I took it on as a interest, right? Not as a forever all.
Okay.
Right. So this was never a forever all because I could pivot any type of way I wanted to pivot. It just depended on what I like. And so now my new pivot is still in the business, but I'm doing a lot more writing and stuff like that. And so, yeah, there wasn't you know, what got me was like going against, you know, other celebrities, you know, that's when you say, okay, you got to put the nerves away and go to work. You know what I mean? And one day I was with Jimmy Smits and, yeah, we were doing, Legacy, the new Jack Bauer thing. With Corey Hawkins. Yeah. And I walk up to him, you know, I'm trying to be cool, right? I said, hey man, I'm James. He's like, dude, I know who you are. I was like, well, get me a plate. No, I didn't say that. So it's those type of things that make you feel like, all right, you're part of it. People know you. You don't have to introduce yourself to everybody because everybody pretty much, you know, who you work with is going to know you.
Yeah, it's such a tight-knit community. You know, there's only X amount of actors that are doing it. I guess when you're going in auditions, you're thinking like it's a big pool of people, but it's really not as big as you think. So that's great that he said that I know you are.
Yeah, I know who you are, man. I was like, oh, well, let me get them ribs and that piece of pilaf salad over there. Bring that to me. No, I didn't do that.
But that was a big thing for you. That was you know, that was 6, 7 episodes, right? That's a big deal.
Yeah, that was huge, man. I thought it was going to keep going. And then I realized Black people don't last in movies or TV. We're down all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? I was like, what in the world? But yeah, I thought it was going to come back, but I think the audience was so stuck on the original Jack Bauer that Corey Hawkins didn't stand a chance.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
How's that conversation happen? Do they call your agent or they pull you in and say, so this week's script, you're gonna die?
No. They say, here's your last check. Enjoy. That's it. You don't have to give me no explanation, man. Just give me the check. I'm out, bro. I'm out. Somebody asked me the other day, bro. They said, James, what's the next thing you got coming down the tubes? I said, money. That's about it. I can't forecast anything else, man. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was it.
But it's a funny conversation to have, like as an actor. I talked to Jason Kravitz when he was on The Practice, and he got shot up in an episode. He was like the assistant DA. He gets murdered by some like gangster, like mafia guy, and like with like a machine gun. And he told me he got like the call from God, who was the guy that wrote that show? I think he's married to Michelle Pfeiffer. I always forget his name, but
yeah.
So he called him and he goes, Jason, and he's like, who is this? And he said his name, and he was like, oh yeah. He's like,
David Kelly.
David Kelly, yeah.
Kelly.
So he goes, David Kelly, he never calls the actors. So he's like, shit, what's gonna happen? And he had to like break it down to him, and then he was like, oh my god. But he did get to he kissed Laura Flynn Boyle while he was dying. So he said that was pretty good.
Yeah, I was close to kissing Laura Flynn Boyle. I was like,
in the practice when you're on that?
And the practice, yeah. Man, she was fine. And I haven't seen her in a long time though, man. I
don't know if she acts. I just remember her as the way she looked in the 90s, like Twin Peaks and the practice. Right. That's really it. She never, or Wayne's World. Yeah, I don't know why she's not around.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to her, man. So
maybe some people just get out of it. They're just like,
yeah. It's like what's her name from? I saw her on James Corbin the other night. Sharon Stone. She's like, I'm going to be an artist. She started painting. You know, she does all these paintings now. So I mean, she'll listen. She'll still take that money if it's right. You know?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, but she's like, I'll be a painter now. You know. So. Yeah.
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
Yeah, so you mentioned like obviously the people are championing you at FX because you could see it. You were on It's Always Sunny, Sons of Anger. Legit was a FX show. It's like a bunch of all in a row.
Yeah, Sean Bean did a show that didn't called Legends. I was on that. And recently FX did, Snowfall's ending tonight on that. The boys from Sunny in Philadelphia, that, so yeah, they like me over at FX. I wish Apple TV liked me. Apple TV pay a whole lot of money.
Really? More than Netflix?
Oh, it's ridiculous what they now. Again, here's the whole problem because there's going to be a strike. There's no residuals from streaming, and so that's why we're about to strike because there's no
there's no residual.
Wow. Yeah, man. Yeah, when Will Smith got that $30 million for Bright, that's all he got.
That's all he got.
$30 million.
Yeah. Damn, dude.
I'd take that same offer too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
30 million. Let me get that.
Oh, that's
then
interesting.
I might feel like
that's interesting. No residuals from that.
Yeah. But now we're May 1st is the deadline, and they're gonna go on strike, man. It's gonna be the WGA first, the Writers Guild, and then it'll probably be the Directors Guild, and then it'll probably be the actors. I just hope it doesn't go really long, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to get my Uber license back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Some of them do go a while. I remember the writer's strike. I remember there was one writer's strike. I don't know if it was the 90s or it was like for a long time because I remember like SNL was on a writer's strike. So it was like the cast members were writing in it and like some movie. I forget what movies came out, but around that time. But that's interesting, man. That's good that you guys are banding together and doing that.
Yeah,
they're be pocketing the money because people are. I don't know if people are still watching Bright.
No. But Will Smith still got that $30 million.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, yes, man. We were talking the other day about just residuals, and it's like I did a show in Mexico for a month. Made some money, and then that's it. Nothing else. They don't have to pay. They can use your likeness forever, and they don't have to pay. So, and that industry is like a $200 billion industry.
Yeah,
$200 billion, and you don't give up any residuals. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. That's how actors live when they're done. I helped an actor write a book, this guy, Larry Henkin, and that's like what he lives on. Obviously, Social Security and whatever he got from being in the union for all those years, but he's living off people watching, the things he was in. So
yeah, that's where my money comes from. A lot of my money comes from residuals. I mean, not a lot of it, but a substantial amount where I go, okay, maybe I don't have to work this month. But yeah, residuals, man. That's how we live. So
yeah. Yeah, and then there was like a bunch of the network shows like Grey's Anatomy, Criminal Minds. So is there?
Mhm.
I love your whole mindset because it's really just whatever the opportunity is. That's
Right.
what it is. It's not like, but it seems like you wanted to do more drama, right? That's like what your focus is on roles.
Yeah, yeah. Initially, I wanted to do more drama because I just didn't, I wanted to fall into something as relatable as possible.
Yeah,
That was the whole thing for me. And then later on, I'm like, and I'm a really funny dude, and I'm
you
not
are
just saying
really
it for
funny.
my,
Yeah,
yeah, funny dude, man. And then I started realizing once, like, Abbott Elementary came out, some other shows came out. I was like, okay, people watch comedies, and and so now I'm telling them, look, man, if we can get on a comedy, 30-minute comedy, I'm down, or a movie. But I'm that flexible. I just never made mention of it that I was that flexible. And then people are like, dude, you're funny. I was like, yeah, I'm also black. Make the correlation here. I don't know what the heck you talking about. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know, just to say it out the blue, boy, you're funny. I'm like, yeah, boy, I'm black too. I don't understand the relationship. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, but yeah.
No. You are definitely funny, especially you're just the background of like opening up for them and just the fact that you even for fun, you were riffing for 10 minutes on what people were wearing on a cruise ship and like,
yeah, right. And killing the room, man. And, it was just fun. It was just fun, man. So, and that's where all the improv comes in and what you do on shows and movies, really, but not TV shows. But yeah, I get why people laugh because they're tired of screaming and crying all the time.
yeah,
I get why people laugh. People don't want to say the obvious, right? Which you could just leave that up to me on a cruise ship, right? Let me say the obvious. And it's nothing to tear anybody down. It's like, I know Earthquake does this. Earthquake says, these ain't jokes. Like, that's his punchline. These ain't jokes. That's how I was like, these ain't jokes. This actually just happened. So it's cool. It's cool.
No, I think in improv too, like no matter what, comedians can be funny, but when you can sort of tell people are coming up with it in the moment, I don't know why. To me, I find it so much funnier. Like Ben Schwartz is a big improv guy, and like because he came out of New York. I think he grew up in New York or Long Island. He's a tri-state guy. Yeah. So you guys riffed on that movie a lot. They let you do that.
Yeah, man, they let us go at each other, and we weren't really going at each other.
Yeah,
we were just supporting each other, and brother, it was so funny, man. He is a funny dude.
Yeah.
And then he would say stuff, and then we would just go back and forth. And I know Chris McKay was like, "This is golden, but I'm gonna cut it out the movie." And I was like, "Yeah,
Get that on a DVD, man. Deleted scenes. Hopefully, they have something like that, special features."
Yeah, someone else said that. Like, yo, you should get the DVD when it comes out. I probably will,
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Do most directors let you riff, like in movies, even drama? Like if you're in a dramatic role, do they say, James, how do you want to try to say this line? Or
in movies, it's because it's fluid, right? You're not stumbling because of a line. You're really getting engaged because of what you just heard from someone. And even though your line, the script is all there, your reactions can be different, but with the same intention, but with different words. So, that way it could become, he's over there, right? It's the same thing, but there's more, what you're connected to in terms of the reaction. Right? Yeah, and I think a lot of times films, like if you take a script from a film and you take the original script and you watch the film, I'm 99% sure that everything written is not what's in the movie.
Yeah, I bet.
They changed it up, and I remember my first experience with that. I was shooting a movie with Dave Davies, and he was all over the place. I said, I didn't say cut because I'm not the director, but I said, hold up, what are you doing, bro?
When do I say my line?
Yeah. I was like, dude, what? And then they're like, James, he's just riffing. I was like, oh, okay. Is that what you call it when you're on page 39 and I'm on page 4? Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So
that'd be hard to keep up. Like somebody, you're like waiting for them to finish, like say a certain keyword that like, okay, now it's my turn to say the next line.
Right.
and he's not saying that line. You're like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, yeah, and that's when you get like a cuss word, because you know I don't know where you at, and then you just say something crazy.
Yeah.
You say something crazy, man. But yeah.
No, that's interesting. No, it's good. I always, for some reason, when it comes to like drama movies, I feel like for them, it like every word like matters. But that's cool that they let you riff, because then there's actually like something in the moment, so you can actually evoke like the actual emotion you feel. Obviously, you're feeling a certain person thing about your character in the scene and who your scene partner is. That's pretty cool that they let you put something into it.
Yeah. Aaron Sorkin and others like him are the only people who really say, I wrote it this way, I want it to be said that way. And movies.
Yeah.
And TV, you got to stick to it, because TV is more of it's scripted, it's timed, it's go.
Yeah.
And so you don't get much time to do, maybe you can end it on something, but there's not a lot of time to go back and forth.
What do you like working on better? If you had like a choice of like for the rest of like just TV, just movies, is there one you prefer?
Yeah, a cruise boat. No,
I'm cruise boat.
Yeah. No, I would prefer film, man. But it's so I read an article the other day. It says we're in the post era of films, and I go, wow, that's deep. That we're in a post era of film, and I mean, I think they meant like going to the movie theater and stuff like that. So we're in this post era. So yeah, I love film, man. TV, listen, TV is cool because you get paid, but it's not always a guarantee.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And then you make a movie like Amsterdam or whatever that movie was, or Babylon, and then you spend all this money and you don't make nothing.
It's so funny. They're two movies, one word. I haven't seen both of them yet, but the reviews are the same about both movies, like all over the place. So what is this? And Margot Robbie's in both of them, which I think is so funny.
Yeah. She came off Suicide Squad and just like I thought she was gonna be next level, and then she did a couple of movies. She did Hollywood. What is it? Something Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah, she played Sharon Tate, right?
Sharon Tate. Yeah. She did well in that, but then she went two back-to-backers. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But she's still working. Somebody's gonna call her.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I could see that when it comes to like film, like movie theater wise. But it's it's so funny. Like movies will come out and they'll be 3 hours long, and people will be like, "Holy shit, I got to sit in the movie theater for 3 hours." But then the same person will sit there and stream 8 1-hour episodes of a show back to back to back to back.
Right.
So funny. Like
yeah. I don't know which way we're headed in this whole media. I don't know. We got Instagram stars, Facebook stars. We got. But the good thing I think is that it's opening up people's imagination to what can happen, what they can do. They don't have to be so structured in life or depend on working for someone else the rest of their lives. But if that's your thing, that's your thing. But I think the option of having sort of confidence in something else you want to do and you go do it, that's the real right there, man.
Yeah, no, people can create YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah.
There's people that get TV series off of being on TikTok or getting movie roles just because of how many followers they have, because the person making the movie is like, you know what? Maybe the people that follow the 10 million followers will see them in this movie. But no, it's definitely an interesting time. And so many streaming services give actors more opportunities, and then, which is a good thing. More content is good for yourself and other creators, so that's good.
Right. Yeah.
And then writing, you wrote down. I was looking on your IMDb, and I know those things aren't usually written by the actor or like but it said you're gonna get. And you mentioned before about writing, but directing and writing is something you want to get into. Nice.
Yeah, I actually got a film into Dave Brown and Jamie Foxx's Indie Nights here in LA.
Oh, cool.
And then I'm shooting a movie with my nephew who's in Ain't Too Proud, The Temptation Story. He plays Melvin Franklin, one that's traveling around. So we're going to do a story. I wrote a story about Nat King Cole in 1956 in Birmingham, Alabama, getting attacked on stage.
Oh, my God.
So, Yeah, man. It's called An Unforgettable Night.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that's the type of stuff, man.
No, that's cool. No, it's cool. The story, even this year alone, how many biopics are coming out of people that need their stories told? Like the George Foreman movie that's coming out, which I didn't even know was coming out, of him like when he was older and he was like not fighting for 10 years. He came out of retirement. Sweetwater, who was on the Knicks, which is like a very cool story that no, but that'd be pretty cool. So where are you going to shoot that? Are you going to shoot that there? Or are you going to go
shoot it right? I'm going to shoot it in LA. And I'm going to take some outtakes in Alabama of the auditorium. Just some outtakes because I have to teach a kids class down there in June. So we take some outtakes and just go from there, man. But it's all, I wrote it in a way that it's called, it's one in a series called POV, point of view. And so, I'm having 6 interviews, but these people are actually in the audience, but that's all you focus on. You get their reaction to what's going on. And then the before and the after attack reaction, and then the story in the middle. So it should be pretty cool.
Nice. Cool. How long is it going to be? Like a feature?
30 minutes. 30
cool.
minutes. I'm going to do like 33 minutes, just in case, during the 28 days of Black History Month, somebody calls me and says, hey, can we put this on the network? That's crazy. Black History Month. Black History Month is not like an ordinary month. It's only 28 days.
I know.
It's so stupid. Like, and they only get, like, Mexican people Cinco de Mayo. They get 1 day. That's it. St. Patty's Day, they give them 1 day. I'm like, you guys are crazy with this, month. Yeah. I was like, man, just celebrate people, man. Be cool with that.
Why was it February?
I have no idea, because it was
the shortest month. And then as soon as the calendar turns, and then it's like Women's History Month, that gets 31 days.
Yeah, 31 days. Like, man, come on, you guys are killing me with this.
Come on, only 28 days. And then you have that old white guy in the back, and he's like, well, some years you get 29.
Yeah. And then you got to take out Valentine's Day and President's Day. So now we're down to 27.
Yeah. God, that'd be a good bit. That'd be a really good bit. Oh my God. But no, that's pretty cool. You're going to shoot. That's great, man. What made you want to do that? Just being on set and just watching what they're doing?
Just telling history, facts of history that people don't know about, things that happen. I'm so tired of this slave narrative. Everybody knows about slavery. Everybody. But there were some things in between 1863 and now that happened that changed trajectories. So, you got to tell those stories, and it's not always about getting off the Santa Maria, the Pinto, and the other one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just like, it's not always about that. But there's some other stories out there that had an impact on history that people just they haven't told yet. So that's
they should do that, because how many movies can you have about Hitler? How many movies can you have about World War II? It's getting to the point that you're like, how many times can I see the same thing about Hitler?
Right. How many times? You know what I mean? Yeah. So
we get it. He kills himself. Like we get the end of the story. We've seen this before. But you're right. Those other people that you don't know, that I wouldn't have known that he got attacked on stage, and there's probably so many other creators. Like, they need to get another Jimi Hendrix movie. I don't know if you saw. There's 2 Jimi Hendrix movies that came out in the last 20 years.
Yeah, there's one with Wood Harris, and then the other.
I love
Andre
that
2000 one. Yeah.
Wood Harris one I've loved so much. Vivica Fox was in that, which is pretty cool because at that point she was like huge. She's one of those people I think is so good. So I feel like she just falls in love with the script, because that movie, there's really not that many people in the movie that are big at that time. Like Wood Harris was sort of big, I guess, because right after Remember the Titans was like a few years before. But God, I love that movie. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Like stories about the other, like you said, like it should not just be those other points in history. Like people learn that in school. Like you learn that every year for how many years? Like tell the other stories about the other people that were influential in rock and roll and music and acting. Like Sidney Poitier movie. Why don't they do that?
Yeah. I mean, people don't know that there was a hotel in Las Vegas, which is the last story Well, it's already written, but I call it 55, and it was about the first integrated hotel and casino in America that opened in Las Vegas in 1955. And there's another story to it, but it opened on the Northwest side, which was a predominantly Black area. And people don't know that, they know the story that Blacks could play at the, Frontier and the Dunes, but they couldn't stay there. So they had to go to the West side. Then this Jewish cat, Schwartz, opened this casino and hotel. And it was at the time it would cost $3 million to make or to build, which is equivalent now about 800 million. And it was the toast of the town because Blacks, whites, whoever, all the people could go there. And then it shut down the strip at night because everybody was headed over there. And it only opened in its original form for 6 months. So yeah. I went to Vegas last year and took some pictures of the site where it was at. It's just huge. It was like a huge site. Wow. And because it's a historical landmark, they just have the site now and then the old marquee of the place. So it was called the Moulin Rouge. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's the story. Why did it only last 6 months?
Well, remember in the 50s, 40s, the Las Vegas is pretty much controlled by the mob.
No, yeah, true.
So they got kind of angry at him being over there. This is what I gathered. And they started calling in some of the markers, his place wasn't this, and his place wasn't that, because it closed overnight. They went to work the next day and the door was changed.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. During Jim Crow, man. So
yeah, those are the stories.
Yeah.
That need to be told,
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. So back to the acting, but that's so fascinating that you're doing that. Like I think directing and writing, some people do it right from college. Like that's all they do. Like hey, I want to be a writer, I want to be a director. But I think it's so cool when you actually do the acting for so long, because then what the people that you're directing or, like you've done the job before. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And you have people in the industry that can help you too, your
that
friends
is true.
And stuff like that. Yeah.
Be like, hey Jimmy Schmidt, remember when you said you knew me? I need you for a few hours.
Yeah. And then you get the Hollywood shuffle and they're like, okay, we have to forget where we're at.
Yeah. So you were like, because we cover mostly sequels. So you were in a bunch of cool sequels, like Badasses on the Bayou, that one.
Yeah. It was Trejo, Danny Trejo. It was cool. It's cool. I mean, like for me, man, it's like who do I get to work with first, and then how much do you pay me second? And now it's how much you pay me first, and I don't care who else is on the set. But Danny Trejo was good. Plus, he lived in Venice, and I used to live in Venice, and I used to see him around. So
nice. I think it's so wild that those movies all spawned from that internet video of that old guy knocking out the guy on the bus. That's what those movies are fun. The guy that knocked the guy out and said, "You better call an ambulance," because he couldn't say the word ambulance. And then they made 3 movies from that. And I think even that in that one, is that the one that Danny Glover's in?
Yep, Danny Glover's in it. Danny Glover.
And then there's like Joe Dirt 2 you were in, Logan. So like there's some cool movies that you worked on over the years.
I don't know what to say about Joe Dirt 2, so I just will say that it's called
Joe Dirt 2 is pretty much Joe Dirt 1. It's the same movie. And I love Joe Dirt 1 because it's so ridiculous. I love David Spade. But when that sequel came out, I was like, this would be cool, another movie. But it's the same movie. Right. The same exact movie.
Except they added Watkins in it. What's his name? Watkins. Watkins.
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Watkins. Yeah. So, you can add him to anything, and then okay. You don't know if you're doing funny or serious. So, yeah.
So, man, James, it's been great. One thing I have to say is, dude, you really have to do stand-up. You need right tonight. Go up at the store and just crush it, and then people will be talking about you tomorrow. Your riffing and just like infectious smile, like it really, dude. That's especially doing it on a cruise ship and just randomly doing it, and then boom, quick 10 to people that obviously karaoke was going on, and people are drinking, so they're a little juiced up. But to change the whole thing of listening to, I don't know, don't Stop Believing over and over again, whatever they were singing there, but like, and then you come up and do that, and you can captivate an audience. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, I had fun. That was fun. That was probably the highlight of the trip, and it kind of took the edge off from jumping overboard. But
you didn't like it?
Yeah,
you don't like being on a cruise ship?
7 days.
I don't like the look of them. Whenever they show the commercials, like the Disney one, my daughter, she's 4. We took her to Disney like 2 years ago. She's like, Dad, can we go on that? And I just see it. And it's like, to me, it's too big. I don't know how it floats. In my head, I can't think of how it floats. And it's just, I don't know.
Same thing I said, man. It's like 200 tons and it's floating. Meanwhile, if I jump over the railing, I'm going to go straight to the bottom. So I don't get it. Plus, it's like a big ship with like 10 petri dishes on board.
Oh,
you know,
I
and like 10 pools. They're like, I'm good, man.
Yeah. Even before COVID, there was like well, at least once or twice a year they have like a ship that nobody wants to take because everybody's sick on board. That'd be my luck. I'd be like living on that thing, eating the same disgusting buffet over and over again. And I'd be donezo, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Oh,
yeah, but James, this has been great, man. I really appreciate you taking the
Thank
time.
you. I appreciate
just be on a few weeks and Renfield, man. That's really cool that you got that. That's big.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, let's see what's next, man. I was like, maybe someone will, and I was like, man, just keep doing what you're doing. It's gonna come to you. Don't worry about it.
That's a mindset you have to have because you're not going to change the way you think about it. Isn't going to change anything, right? Having that carefree attitude that you have is what matters. People feel that when you talk to them.
Yeah, man. So
awesome, man.
I appreciate you having that time for me, man. I appreciate it.
James was hilarious. Honestly, I understand people have different things they want to try, and it's cool that he loves drama and he can continue to do it. But man, he's a funny guy, funny guy, especially the fact that being funny in a one-on-one interview or with a group of people, but when you get on stage in front of a bunch of people, especially they were doing one karaoke and that was their focus, and somebody stops that karaoke and just crushes it. And even in the interview, how funny he is throughout it. And and his short films, I hope everything gets moving with those, because those are stories that I want to hear. So thank you, James. And now your homework, Badasses on the Bayou, Badasses 3. So excited to have Andrew back. It's been way too long. He's our action sequel expert. I'm sure he'll be ready to talk about some action. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night, guys.